this is called the form field tooltip module. And it's very simple. It doesn't really require any configuration. So if you enable it, the configuration here, all it is you just get to select which field name. You just select the field you want to use the tooltip for, and then the contents. And the contents allows you to add anything you want in the, you're kind of constrained by the width of the tooltip. So you can't go too crazy, but you can use the rich text editor to, you know, make it kind of visually appealing and kind of draw, you know, your eye to certain things. If you want to point things out in a wall of text, you can do that. So you basically would just enable the module. You would select which field you want to add a tooltip for. For example, this one's body mass index, and then I want a tooltip that just describes what BMI is, you know, and maybe why we're trying to, you know, why is it important that if it's over 30, that kind of thing, just to kind of give somebody some education as to why they're filling this out and why it's important. So we'll just save that. And now that it's enabled, if we go to the record status dashboard and I open up a new record, what this does is it adds, instead of a field note down here, because you can see here this kilograms per meter squared, that's a field note. But what it does is it gives us this blue info box that is a tooltip, and now it shows up with the information that I put in, and it allows you to use HTML in the rich text editor to kind of bring out some detail of, you know, define some terms that you want to define. Now you are limited by the width here, so you can see that it's only this wide. I did have a pic in another demo I've done. I had a picture of kind of a BMI chart that showed kind of the levels of BMI and when it goes, you know, good to bad sort of thing. That was too wide for this, so I had to take it out. And just to show you an example, there's a website. It's called the Lorem Ipsum generator. And Lorem Ipsum is just, it's like web design text, filler text that web designers use whenever they have to build web pages. So they don't have to sit there and type random content themselves. So I can generate that from a website. So if I go here and go to the tooltip module, just to show you, I'm going to add another tooltip, and I'm just going to put it on here for body mass, and then I'm just going to paste this wall of text here. And this is the Lorem Ipsum text. It's called that because the first words are Lorem Ipsum. It's just a bunch of random Latin stuff. So if I save that and we go back to the record status dashboard and look at the tooltip for this one, you can see now that it's just this wall of text. And if you hover over it, it disappears. So if you keep it enabled and then scroll, you'll see here that all it does is it stays one width, but then just grows vertically for however long you need. And it's more of a pain to kind of keep, like you're trying to read this whole thing and you scroll out, and if I move the mouse away from it to try to scroll, it goes away, but I have to keep the mouse on that and scroll. But if I stop for a few seconds, it goes away. So that's kind of the one thing you want to think about if you do this, use this tooltip, is you don't want to have a giant wall of text that is longer than the screen, because then people are going to have a hard time reading it. But this does give you a way to have visually appealing sort of tooltips that the field notes display doesn't let you have. Now, in the data entry view, the tooltip appears to the left of the field, but in the survey view, it shows up after the field label. So that's the only difference between the survey and the data entry view. Does anybody have any questions about those?